Hey everyone, Ben here. Welcome to a race which is all about mental strength and concentration. I end up fighting an extended three-way battle and one driver eventually cracks under the pressure at the very climax of the race, and maybe not the driver you're expecting. So stick around to find out who it is, as we're waiting now for the lights to go green and we are underway for 20 minutes of GT3 fixed action here on iRacing, and you can see we're a little bit hesitant to react to the lights, and that's put us into a bit of trouble heading into T1. It means I've got cars down my inside. I've lost at least one position already as we have to take the very long way around the outside. Rittinen is on my outside there, coming through this right-hander. He gives me space at the apex, but he's got that move done in his BMW, and I'm going to have to settle in behind him. Of course, cold tyres and brakes as ever, and I'm just trying to get the car up to temperature, stay safe on this opening lap as we come through now into the final sector of the lap, and we have probably consolidated ourselves in 11th position here, I think, as we head at the final corner, get caught out just a little bit by the cars concertinaing together up ahead. Very, very challenging circuit to overtake at Laguna Seca, particularly in these big GT3 cars. And we're going to find out just how difficult as the race progresses. However, Charlie Card behind me in the Lamborghini spots an opportunity down my inside as I just overestimate the brakes I'm going to have available to me on the second lap of this race, and we've lost another position. So difficult to overtake, but not impossible, as we can see two cars further up the road. I think that's De La Fey and Rittinen going side by side. Charlie Card fancies making another move. I'm going to be able to get involved here too. In fact, it gives me a chance to get down the inside of Card. Oh my goodness, a big snap of oversteer for De La Fey up ahead. That was nearly a big accident, but it means I reclaimed 11th position from Card there as the two cars up ahead were coming together and slowing one another down. So as quickly as we lost that position, we were able to get it back, and now I'm right on the rear wing of De La Fey up ahead as we come through the corkscrew for the second time, keep the car planted through there, and we head into the end of the lap. But that means then we're basically running one spot down from where we qualified. I do feel like I've got more speed than that. I didn't have a clean qualifying run, so I'm slightly out of position. I do want to try and make positive advances forward here as we see myself lose the position from Card very nearly there. De La Fey coming under pressure from Ritten alongside there, nearly losing the car, and then you can see it turns into a four-way battle heading down into the left hand of the cars, still very congested together just on the second lap of this race, and we are bold and brave down the inside and squeeze back past Card there to reclaim our 11th position. We rejoin them with about 5 minutes gone in this race, so 15 minutes to go, and really a pattern for this race is now being established. I'm a little bit stuck behind De La Fey up ahead. The gap is around 0.2 to 0.5 seconds, and I haven't been able to find a way past, and I'm coming under pressure now from behind from Andrea Lerol in the Ferrari. We're heading down into T1 then. It looks like I've got a decent gap behind. There's contact up ahead, and Lerol is making a move down my inside. We just avoid the spun Mercedes there on the inside of the corner. Lerol not so fortunate. Look at how cruel the sim racing gods can be. A bold move down the inside, but then he arrives at the apex of the corner to find a car parked sideways across the track. He has to get out of it, and there we go around the outside to hold the position. We rejoin the live action then just a few more minutes into this race, and really now we're putting De La Fey under as much pressure as we can. He's around half a second up ahead, but I've got Charlie Card behind me pulling all sorts of tricks in my rear view mirror, occasionally flashing his lights, trying to distract me, trying to just ghost to the inside, pull a move here or there to try and get me off my game and off the racing line. But so far I'm able to maintain my concentration, and this right here, this is the three-way battle I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and this is going to really be the story of the rest of this race, as we're pretty evenly matched on pace. If anything, it feels like Card, who's at the rear of the pack of cars here, is probably the quicker driver. He's probably got the most pace, but he's being held up essentially by both myself and De La Fey. I'm pushing De La Fey quite hard, and actually all three of us are catching up ahead. But there you go again. You see Card just faint to my inside, trying to spook me off the racing line. I'm not buying it on that occasion as we flash forward once again, coming up to the half race distance mark here. We are still reeling in the cars up ahead, so all three of us have got decent pace, but we're fighting 4-track position amongst us as well. As we're coming through the double right-hander here, you can see we are just 0.3 seconds behind De La Fey. He extends that gap just a little bit through the right-hander, and then it's another 0.3 seconds back to Charlie Card behind me. I get some understeer through the left-hander. That might give Card a little bit of a chance coming through this left-hand corner here, but it's so difficult, if not impossible, to run anything like too wide through that corner. So easy to lose time, as it looks like De La Fey did up ahead of me as we close in again on his rear wing into the corkscrew, but not close enough to make anything happen. And this really is going to be about trying to line up a move, probably into the last corner of the lap or into the first corner of the lap. We're a little bit slower than Card through that left-hander again. He thinks about trying to get alongside me, but he can't. Here we go then, down the run into the final corner. Card to my inside. We just about hold him off there. We're able to make the apex, and fair play to Card behind me, because clearly I think he senses he's a bit quicker too. But he's being very patient. He's trying to hustle me rather than put a dive bomb down the inside. We fast forward then 13 minutes on the race clock now, just 7 minutes left. Again, we've narrowed the gap, the three of us, to the two cars up the road. We're still fighting between us, as again I'm sawing at the wheel trying to get the car turned in. Can't manage it as quickly as Card behind me. He's very close now as we head into the final corner. He's going to make a move down my inside as I give him space on the apex. That puts me out wide on corner exit, but I'm going to hold the position. This is really, really intense now in the cockpit. We've closed right up to Nacho Fernandez up in 8th position. We're still running in 10th position in this race. De La Fey up in 9th. Charlie Card behind me in 11th. And then we've got a bigger gap back to 12th position. So this really is the battle now. As you can see, Fernandez up ahead going defensive. Looks like De La Fey might have a run on corner exit, but he can't quite make it. I've got my rear view mirror full of Charlie Card, who is going to chance to move down my inside. He's alongside. I give him space on the exit, on the entrance to the corner there. We're able to hold it on the exit. Very, very close there to making a move. And once again, we went out slightly wide, but it looks like we've been able to hold on. Let's take a replay of that action then, as you could see De La Fey and Fernandez up ahead scrapping it out, and then Charlie Card sees that he's got an opportunity down my inside. Oh, but he's just not able to hold it through corner exit. Great racing, very, very fair, I've got to say. My other races in this class historically have not been as clean as this. Really good to have this level of competition without constantly door banging with the cars around me. We rejoin the live action. De La Fey gets in slightly deep. That looked like he was going to give me a chance to get alongside on corner exit, but not quite close enough. And we are heading towards the final set of laps now, really. Just a few minutes left on the race clock. And this looks like then the battle that's going to see us through to the checkered flag. Look in the rearview mirror, Card again closing in through the exit of those corners. He thinks about a move down the left-hand side into this middle speed left-hand corner, but he's not able to get alongside into the apex. So we hold on once again as we get ready for the very tricky left-hander. De La Fey gets that wrong, so now the impetus is on me to try and get alongside him up into the corkscrew. We're closing right in, less than 0.2 seconds behind, but just not close enough to get alongside. And this really has been one of the most intense battles I've ever had on iRacing, even though there hasn't actually been all that much side-by-side action between the three cars. But we've been putting pressure on each other lap after lap after lap, and it is exhausting. I know it sounds kind of silly. I'm sure some of you have been in similar positions where it's really difficult to be racing up ahead of you, but also in your mirrors as well. And I have to be in my mirrors a little bit because Card is within 0.1, 0.2 seconds. That is within striking distance. As we now flash forward onto the beginning of the very final lap of this race, and look at how close the three of us are. You could throw a blanket over the three cars. Fernandez has gotten away a little bit up in 7th position. We're now up in 9th because a car retired up ahead. So this is the battle for 8th position. As we come into the first corner for the final time, we look like we could be able to make a move. De La Fey moves over slightly in the braking zone. That means we have to leave a gap on the inside, and Card finally makes his move, his ace up his sleeve. He's able to get down the inside as we just misjudged the first corner, as we were slightly put off by De La Fey coming across in the braking zone. I don't think there was anything wrong in that, but we'll see it again on replay very soon. So at the very last, it looks like we've lost out in this three-way battle as we cut forward to later on the very final lap. I'm trying to stay in touch as Card is clearly hustling De La Fey as well. He fancies an 8th place finish out of this on the final lap. We're going to come through the final set of corners then. Card putting pressure on, but he clops the curb and he's off to the left hand side and into the barrier. The dramatic finish that I thought we might get has come to fruition, and in the end, Card just running out of patience, losing his car, and in the end we're going to come home in 9th place. What a phenomenal race, a different kind of race, not lots of overtaking back and forward, not that many accidents out on track to gain or lose positions from, but a really intense, well matched fight, and that was really enjoyable. I hope I've managed to communicate to you how enjoyable and intense it was. This is a replay then of those final lap incidents. You can see I thought there was a gap on the inside, that gap gets closed off, that opens up then the space for Card to squeeze on past. I actually turn in just a little bit, and that's why there's a little bit of contact. That's nothing on him. You'll see from Card's on board here, he's got the wheel cranked over to the left. We'll get his on board just here. You'll see it as he comes around the outside. He anticipates what might be about to happen, opens up the corner to himself, and you can see he's fully got his wheel turned into the left, so no question there of him drifting out into my path. Unfortunately for Charlie Card though, he did make a mistake just a couple of corners from home, and that cost him that gain. He's off into the barrier, and that ultimately meant he came home in 10th position. Here's the final classified results then. A really enjoyable race. We weren't on the pace of the front runners, but we ultimately had a very good scrap throughout. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, leave a like, get subscribed to the channel, and I will see you on the next one.